Hello and welcome everyone here for PSGL Season 29, round number 1 of Formula 8. We're here at the Bahrain International Circuit and I'm your lead commentator for the season, Deadly Flu, and this is going to be an incredibly exciting season. Sorry for the little inconvenience at the start here, as my stream didn't want to start for some reason, but we are 8 minutes into the first qualifying session of the season, and you can see TVH Ice-T in the Ferrari put himself up into P1 already with a 1:25.1. TTGA Leonard in P2 and Kart Racer in the Haas in P3. F1R Juanito in P4, who is a reserve in this season. So I can quickly go through the grid for this year in the Mercedes. We have Ella Robin and Quito Sword M4N. In the Red Bull we have NSX Raymouth and NSX Bahrain. In the Ferrari we have Garofo 1 and Nick Kenshin. In the McLaren we have TTGA Leonard and TTG Slash. In the Aston Martin we have Super Guy NL and Ayub Khan 05. In the Alpine we have Piso RS19 and T1000 Sack. In the AlphaTauri we have Witchshot Mulder and F1R Bijou, I think. In the Alfa Romeo we have Gamer Freaker 1 and Ecosmats. In the Williams we have Alex Di Morte and El Pilotor 13, and in the Haas we have Kart Racer 22 and Hellboy 55100, and that is the grid for this season. Today, as reserves, we have Big Boy Jawan, VR Ice-T 56, Smalley, and Juanito, who of course is up in P4 right now. And Hellboy has left the session for some reason, not quite sure what happened to him. He crashed out coming out of turn 7. But he will need to come back into the session as soon as possible to try and get back onto the grid for the race. As we're now going to follow along with Kart Racer for a full lap off the track as he is coming through turn 1, 2 and 3. Now he's coming down to turn 4 here. Brakes on the curb, goes up to 4th gear. You have to be really careful here on the exit to not try and get that invalidation. But it's looking like a pretty good lap for him so far. Up into 5th gear. Now coming down towards turn 10, one of the most tricky corners on this track, as you can easily lock up their left front tire. Now on the 2nd DRS zone, or the 3rd DRS zone on this track, down to turn 11, up into 5th gear. Now another tricky corner, turn number 12. If you touch that inside curb, your car might be gone. But he's up by 4 tenths already. And he's coming towards the final corner. This might be the first 124 that we might see in the session, with 7 minutes to go. Kart Racer now following onto the line, and it will be a 1:24.846, and that is the quickest time of the session so far. GS Smalley with the 1:24.999. Just about made it into the 24s, but he's up into P2 in the Aston Martin. We also have the Alpine of Zach now coming towards the line. What will his time be? It will be a 25.0. That puts him into P4. Witchard in P2 with a 24.9 as well. And you can see this grid is incredibly close already to start this first qualifying session of the season. We also have one of the Red Bulls now coming towards the line, NSX Raymouth, also improving, having a purple sector in Sector 2. Coming through the final corner, and this might be a really good lap for him, and where will it put him? That might also be in the top 3 territory. It is only P7, improved by about 4 tenths. Looked better than it might have been in the end with that second sector. Now his teammate following behind, he also improved by 4/10 by the looks of it, up into P10. We have one of the Aston Martins approaching the final corner. I think that is Smalley, who is not on the lap right now. He's pulling into the pits as we speak. And I think the next guy on the lap might be, yeah, Kart Racer surely is not on the lap, but he, of course, is in P1, so everyone's goal will need to be to beat the guy in the Urakali Haas. Next up, we have one of the Mercs approaching, but Ala Robin is also going to come into the pits now with 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. The Alpine also dives into the pits, so we don't have a lot of guys out on track. We have the NSX guys right now right behind each other. Doesn't look like either of them are on a lap, so they will also have to pull into the pits, and that might leave Bahrain waiting for a bit here, as of course the pit crew can only get one car at the time into the pits. So actually, is he going to stay out? No, it looks like he's also coming into the pits, so pretty much everyone is now pulling into the pits to then go out onto the final run at the end of qualifying. Ayub Khan right now looks like he is on a lap, followed by, looks of it, I think that's Juanito on P9 right now. Ayub now coming through the final corner. He is on a lap, so he will come over the line. Where will it put him? It is P11 with a 25.4 right in front of Barre. And Juanito, of course, starting his lap. I think Game Freaka is not on a quick lap, so we'll just start the entire lap with Juanito. Currently in P9, but he already invalidated coming through turn 3. That's not the greatest start to a lap for the Williams driver, but of course he is a reserve driver, so he needs to show out to potentially get a seat later on in this season. But of course that's not guaranteed in any way, but he has to perform, and P9 certainly is a way to show that you can be pretty quick. Then Nick Kenshin in P13 starting his lap as well, as we're now entering the final bits of qualifying. As you can see on the mini-map, 4 guys entering the pit, leaving the pit lane, I should say. Both Mercs, 1 Aston Martin, or actually 1 AlphaTauri and 1 Alpine. As Nick is currently up by a 10th after Sector 1. Going down into turn 10, and no little mistake can even cost you so many places. Here, as you can see on the timing screens, it's but 5/10, and Nick does not keep going on that lap, as that mistake going into turn 10 might have cost him too much time already. And Slash for TTG, he is on his 1 lap that will count, because I mean he did not have a lap before that. Looks pretty quick through the middle sector, but where will he end up? Of course we don't have anything to count that lap to against, so he will now come through the final corner, and his lap time will put him into first place with a 24.7, and that's how you can start your season in a pretty good way, I should say. No laps that he has done before did count, but the first lap he already puts him into P1. And now the goal for everyone has to be to beat that time, but we will have to find out if anyone can get close to that, as we just jump onto Robin, and he spins out after turn 3, and he is out of the session, so no top 10 start for him. Free tire choice for the Mercedes driver. With the guys coming towards the line, I think Zach starting his lap now to find out if anyone is coming towards the line who is on a quick lap right now, I think Nick might be. No, it's not Nick, but he is improving by 2 tenths. Final guys are getting to the line, and then everyone after that will finish their laps by the looks of it. First guy to come over the line should be Leonard, of course. Actually, no, it's Slash, or of course finished his lap before. Then we have Nick, who will set the first of the final times here in F8. Qualifying coming towards an end. Yellow flag out in turn 1, not quite sure who it was, but Nick coming over the line. He does not improve. Actually, he does improve. Time Machines just did not update. He puts himself up into P11. But that will also be free tire choice for him. Then we have Quito coming to the line in the Mercedes. Will it be at least one top 10 finish? It won't be. Quito in P16, so no improvement for him by a lot. P Suarez stays in P18 with a 126. So definitely not the greatest qualifying session for him as Bio pulls into the pits. And we have Witcher, of course. He's in the fight for pole, approaching the line. And he goes first with a 24.6 in the AlphaTauri, so that's a great lap for him. Smalley pulling into the pits, then we have Zach coming over the line. And he improves, but that's not enough to gain any places. Leonard coming over the line, he puts himself in third, right behind his teammate. Ice-T invalidated, so this time won't count. We both have Raymond who invalidated, and I think his teammate, he is on an improvement by 2 tenths. And where will he end up? Well, gonna look pretty decent, but what will his position be in the end? It's P8. Big boy Joan, he's on this final lap as well, but he did not go full throttle here, and that means qualifying has come to an end. And VR Witcher takes pole position in F8 in Bahrain. What an incredible lap. And he is being followed by both McLaren guys, TTG Slash and TTGA Leonard, only separated by 0.06 of a second in P2 and 3. What an amazing qualifying result for the McLaren guys. But of course now we are getting to the phase where it all will count, where it all will come down in the race. Of course, no points being given for the qualifying session. And now we will see who will put on the biggest show in the race. Of course, one thing you have to talk about here in Bahrain. What are the strategies going to be that we are going to look at today? The top 10, I could imagine, are going to go for a 2-stop maybe, or will stretch out the softs until around lap 10 and then try to go to the end on the hards. Most of the other guys starting outside of the top 10, if they decide to go onto the mediums, will of course do the 1-stop onto the hards. And vice versa, guys choosing the hards will try to do it the other way around. But now a final grid rundown. After qualifying we have the Dutchman for AlphaTauri and VR Witchard in P1, TTG Slash in P2, then we have TTG and Leonard in P3, Kart Racer in P4, GS Smalley in P5, Zach in P6, Ice-T in P7, Barry in P8, Jawan in P9 and Raymond in P10, rounding out the top 10. After that we have Game Freaker, Nick Kenshin, F1R, Juanito, Ella Robin, Ayub Khan, Quito, Pew, P Suarez, Hellboy and Mats, all outside of the top 10, and they will have free tire choice because Mats did not set a lap time for whatever reason. And Hellboy of course left the session after he crashed out, setting a 148.9. So I don't know if he got back into the lobby, but we'll have to find out now if he is on the grid or not. It's the only way to find out in some way, I would say. Of course, rain. Probably no rain expected, as most people could think, around this track. And now we will see what everyone's tire choice is going to be, as F1R BU has left the session. Not sure what's going on today with people leaving the session, but we'll have to see if they can rejoin now at a later point to start the race as well. Haven't seen anyone else leave, so it's going to be something that we have to look at, as now the drivers are going on to the formation lap, and that gives us the chance to look at the tire choices, and a little bit expected, I should say. Basically every driver has chosen to go for the mediums. Of course the top 10 were locked onto the softs already, but P11 down to P20 all on the mediums, no one deciding to go for something different. So nothing that really wasn't expected, but that is going to be the key. Of course, it might have been maybe worth for Mats or Hellboy to choose tires to choose potentially the hards, to maybe try something different from the back, to have the quicker tires at the end. But we will also have to look at the top 10. What strategy are they going to try? Will they try to do the two-stop strategy, using either soft, medium, soft, or soft, soft, medium, or even a soft, medium, medium? Or are they going to try something different that might potentially work as well? Will they go for the soft to hard strategy? And if they want to do that, they probably have to stretch out the softs to around lap 9 or 10. And the hards also are not going to be the greatest tires at the end of their session. But if they can control the tires and manage them just like they want them to, then it might work out for them, but you never know what is going to happen. But I guess we'll find out now as the drivers are coming towards the grid spots, and they will have the first race start of Season 29 PSGL F8 Round 1 here at the Bahrain International Circuit. First light, second light, third light, fourth light and fifth light. A new season of racing is underway here at PSGL, and it looks like Kart Race already had a great start off the getaway, but Witchard stays in P1 for now. Kart Racer down the inside, he's already up into third. A little bit of touching there with Leonard. Slash had an incredibly awful start, dropping down to P5 already. And there's an Alpine spinning at the back. It's T1000 Sek, who started in P6. And he's already down to the bottom. Slash trying to go around the outside of Smalley. It does not work out for him, and there's a spin off. I think it is Raymith, and it's Barry also involved. Both the Red Bulls spinning in the same corner. What an incredible awful start for the Red Bull team. Down to P18 and 19. The AlphaTauri F1R BU also involved in some incident by the looks of it. Also Juanito involved in the incident with the Red Bulls coming out of turn 4. But going towards turn 12, Woodshot still on P1, Leonard up to P2, Kart Racer up to P3, who's right behind Leonard. Leonard having a big slide coming out of turn 12, Kart Racer following in behind, right behind that. We also have GS Smalley, who stayed in P4, TTG Slash down to P5 after starting in P4. BU has left the session, of course, after having an incident in turn 1. We have Ice-T in P6 right behind Slash, and it looks like Smalley, Kart Racer are ghosting for some reason. Not quite sure what that's about, but also the timing page glitch here. Kart Racer is right behind Leonard still. The timings are glitched right now, so apologies for that, but that's all Cody's. As Hellboy is now lost out onto the place too much. Not quite sure as PSGL goes for a spin. Right in front of that, loses the back end, coming out of turn 3. Off the road he goes and down towards P. I think that is P17 or 16 it should be. With Biu, Barry and Juanito in the pits. And Witchet trying to stay in the lead and comfortably going off the start. Leonard has already lost a little bit of time to him as Witchet is trying to build up that gap in P1. Kart Racer falling right behind still. Trying to get the DRS starting next lap. Or once they cross the line now, there's a blue flag. Not quite sure what that's about. There's a virtual safety car that's come out. As I think that's Biu who just ran straight into the wall coming out of turn 1. Or not even through turn 1, just going straight after the main straight. But no safety car, just a virtual one. So drivers will have to make sure to not go too fast. In the meantime, I'm just hoping for the timing screens to get back to normal, as of course the timings here are not even close to being right. Raymith going into the pits once again, not quite sure what happened to him on the second time here. He went into the soft, so might have been him staying out for another lap as his teammate was pitting. He's also going on to the hard tires, just like his teammate is. And they will certainly try to go towards, probably not the end because the hard tires will not last for 26 laps, but we'll try to go towards the end and maybe try to pick up the softs, or hoping for another safety car, for an extra safety car this time. As the virtual safety car is still out, just as I speak about it, it is green light racing. Kart Racer still falling right behind Leonard in turn 11. And there goes Big Boy Jawan with a spin. It looks like Leonard has also spun it in P2. The McLaren has lost it coming through turn 12. As I was speaking about it in qualifying, if you hit the inside curb, or you can either spin it because of that, or you just lose your back end, having maybe chosen the wrong setup or anything. But TTGA Leonard starting in P3, then went up to P2 because of TTG Slash making a mistake at the start. And now Kart Racer already up to P2. GS Smalley in P3. For the Aston Martin team, and Slash is still trying to get back onto that podium spot, and Nick Kenshin and Ayub Khan have come together in turn 2. Ayub Khan spinning Kenshin around. There's another yellow flag. I think it's still because of Kenshin, because he could not get back onto the track. There's the McLaren of Leonard running off the track, and Big Boy J1 has spun again. He was just running in P6 as well, and now he spun coming out of turn 3. Juanito sets the fastest lap on the fresh medium tires. Another yellow flag. Kenshin has lost out to the place to Leonard. Of course, Leonard was incredibly quick as Suarez is going down the inside of Kenshin. A little bit of touch between the both of them. But Suarez goes up into P14 now. Yellow flag still staying there after a lot of incidents. Maybe there was some debris on the track. But now it looks like the timing screen has been fixed. Thankfully, as the yellow flag keeps appearing for no reason. Zach and Hellboy going side by side. And of course Zach had an incident in lap 1 as well, has also spun out at some point. But he is now right in behind his teammate. Or not his teammate, he's right in behind Ayub Khan, who of course spun around Kenshin in the last lap, trying to go around the outside into turn 1. And Zach is looking to make the move work. Does not quite work, but he will have the DRS. Ayub Khan getting back onto the track, and we'll have a free wide now going down to turn 4. As I think Hellboy is trying to go down the inside of Zach as well after getting past Ayub Khan. But he will have to back out of that. Zach still in P9 after making that move on Ayub Khan and Hellboy. Also getting past Ayub Khan, who now drops down to P11 in the Aston Martin. So not the greatest couple of corners for the Aston Martin driver. At the front we still have the top 5 so close together. TTG Slash losing a little bit of time here though, trying to stay close to Smalley. Also having to be very careful going to turn 12 after what happened to his teammate. And there was Rainwolf spinning around in turn 4 as well. Of course, the corner they can catch our drivers so easily. If you're too early on the throttle or just touch the outside curb a little bit too much, your car might be gone in next to no time. As Ice-T now gets past Slash, of course Slash lost the DRS after being very careful going through turn 12. And Ice-T of course could take the advantage of that, and Slash looks to be struggling. Maybe some issues with his tires that he picked up after spinning, as we have Leonard and Kenshin now coming into the pits, and Witcher has lost quite a bit of time here. Kart Racer's right behind him after coming out of turn 4. Looked a little bit like Witcher nearly lost his back end. Yeah, you can see he's really struggling on his tires and pushing them to the limit, trying to keep that first place. But Kart Racer, he has all the opportunity in the world to get past the AlphaTauri driver at some point, because of course he does have the DRS, and he also has some strategic options in his favor to potentially try to go for the undercut. And on the F1 games, the undercut is incredibly overpowered sometimes, or most of the times I should say, and the overcut most of the times does not work in the favor of the driver ahead. Put the tires on here, you can look at it. And now Smalley and Kart Racer right behind Witcher. Ice-T has also caught up into the DRS window. And now Witcher with a little bit of a mistake, and that might be the lead change for the first time in this race, as Kart Racer around the outside into turn 4. Will he make it work? No, Witcher still staying there, but around the outside he pulls it off. Maybe. No, it looks like the AlphaTauri still is able to keep the car ahead for now. But now what a great exit. Another try around the outside, as he's trying to make switchbacks work at pretty much every given point. Juanito has spun the car again in turn 12. Not the greatest start to the season for the reserve driver. And now Kart Racer is nearly touching Witcher's back end pretty much every single corner. But around the outside into turn 11, this would be an incredible move. And this time he makes it work. The Haas driver up into P1. Witcher trying to stay around, but he does not keep it. And the Haas is in P1 as Juanito retires in the pit lane. And now Witcher will have the opportunity to come back for P1 on the straight. There's another yellow flag. It is Hellboy. Of course, just got past Ayub Khan, and there's Witcher now. After getting overtaken by Kart Racer, he pulls into the pit lane, trying to make the undercut on Kart Racer. I think this might have been a good opportunity for him to do that. Slash also coming into the pits now. And you can tell, I think Witcher was kind of waiting for that to happen to make the undercut. Because of course he knew that he would have lost out on that DRS anyways. And now we will have to see what his pace is going to be like on the fresh mediums. And not quite sure. I don't think you can make the mediums work until the end from here. Slash did go for the hard, so he will probably try to go towards the end. As we have Jawan getting overtaken here by Witcher. Of course, Witcher, the leader of the race, qualified in P1. He will try to stick around here to stay in that first place after everyone else has pitted. But that will definitely take some time until he will get back into that place, because He is in P12 right now, and he's got a lot of guys on open mediums in front of him. And they won't pit for another few laps as Slash also gets past Jawan. On the soft tires, of course, Jawan had a pretty awful start, spinning around a few times. And he is in P14 as Hellboy picks up the first penalty of the race. 3-second time penalty for him after his spin. That definitely did not help us. GS Smalley also pulling into the pits. Also trying to make that undercut work on Kart Racer, currently in P1. And Ecos Mat starting in last place, getting past his teammate in the Alfa Romeo. Might be the chance for a comeback for Game Freaker. Doesn't look like it. And Ecos Mats, what an incredible comeback right now in P4 after starting in last place. Of course, he is definitely the guy with the best position changes. And also Ella Robin, of course, some guys have pitted, but also Ella Robin 11 places up. Two guys really taking the advantage of some guys spinning out and making mistakes in the early phases of this race. Jawan coming out right behind Bahrain and Kenshin. We now have Witchard right behind Hellboy, who of course picked up that penalty last lap. But the tire advantage is here for Witchard, and Hellboy not giving any fight towards the AlphaTauri driver. He actually stays behind him quite a bit, nearly running into the back of him, nearly touching his left rear tire. But it's still enough for Witchard to get back up into P10 as Kart Racer and Ice-T are now coming into the pits. The pit stop here takes around 24 seconds. So we'll have to see where both of them are going to come out. As Witchard is now going through the final corner. Where will he end up? He was leading, got overtaken by Kart Racer as he was just diving into the pits right after that, and it looks like he easily gets past both of them. And GS Smalley makes the undercut work. Now free wide going into turn 1 with Kart Racer leaving the pits, but he's coming right up behind his teammate. And GS Smalley went for the hearts. And what an incredible strategy move by him as Hellboy now next to his teammate, who's going down the inside in turn 4 but not putting up any fight, as of course he knows it won't really do too much for him if he just keeps fighting with his teammate here. Big one, Jawan and Beret fighting into turn 1 as Jawan gets past him. Beret might be able to come back here, but not for now. 1000 Sack right now still on the soft, so he probably will come in this lap. We'll need to make that pit stop fairly soon, but I can imagine him doing the one stop to the hearts, which some people might not do. But actually looking at that strategy, as Barry nearly loses the back end, just about is able to save it. One advantage that Smalley might have over Witchard now, he is on hearts, so this probably was his last pit stop. And for Witchard, he will have to come back in again, and he is now running onto the back of P. Suarez. He is on the DRS and he will get past him easily. And now he has to hope for Suarez to hold up Smalley for a little bit of time, so he can create a big gap. But you can see the tire advantage as Smalley runs into the back of P. Suarez, but still gets past him. Suarez trying to put up a fight around the outside, but you can tell the tires, even though it's the advantage should normally be on the mediums, but 10 laps on those mediums will not work as Kart Racer goes around the outside. At the back there was Hellboy spinning, another one for him. And severe collision with TTG Slash, so the McLaren driver must have been involved there as Slash tried to get past him. Trying to find out if he did get any damage from maybe having contact with him. Thank you for that camera, Codemasters. He did pick up some damage to his right front end plate. What a shame for Slash. Qualifying in P2 and then having an awful start, losing 3 places, and now this. Of course, the stewards are going to have a lot of work to do looking at some of these incidents in the first lap. And of course, this incident as well as Zach now coming in after lap 11. I think we have Mats and Game Freaker fighting again. And Mats lost the place again. And goes back down to third. what a shame for Leonard. And McLaren has just lost everything completely in the final laps here. Flash starting in P2, spun around another time, had an awful start, down to P17, Leonard in P, starting in P3, went up to P2, had a great start, then he had a little bit of a mistake sometime and dropped down a few places, and now he's out of the race, spinning, coming out of turn 7 by the looks of it. And I could imagine him just dropping it on the outside curb. Of course, it's a very bad curb, I should say, because you can easily drop it there, and it's an RNG curb, and sometimes you can't even do anything. If you just run over it, you just spin out. So really unfortunate for him, as Game Freaker gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. Because Mats also got a penalty. I'm not quite sure if he had a 3-second time penalty, but we'll have to find out if that is a 3-second time penalty or not. It is driver as well. Unbelievable scenes here in Bahrain. Both Alfa Romeos with a drive-through penalty in the same lap on the same virtual safety car phase, and they both have to pit as well. So what are they going to do now? What are they going to decide to do? Will they both come in now, or will they wait? One guy coming in now, one guy coming in next lap, so they won't sacrifice their races, because of course they also have to pit now, and the mediums won't last for too much longer. And I was talking about Mats being the biggest winner, as Game Freaker comes in now. He will be the first guy to serve his driver penalty and then pit. As I was talking about, Mats, for me, personally, the biggest winner of this race, gaining 16 positions, now 18. But that's all gone now, having to serve a drive-through penalty in lap 16 after Leonard crashes out and brings out the virtual safety car. Robin is now the biggest winner with 100% guarantee. Of course, he went up by 13 places as well, and he does not have the driver penalty. He will need to pit again, but he will be able to go for the softs, probably, I should say, because if he can pull those tires out for another 2 or 3 laps, he will be able to go to the end on the soft tires. Mats struggling on his tires, but he will need to go another lap. Game Freaker coming out after his driver penalty in P6, but of course he has to pit again. He has to serve the driver penalty. He has served his driver penalty, but now he has to change his tires in the pit lane. And the same thing goes for Mats, but he has to serve his driver penalty. So, from what was looking like an incredible race and comeback for the Alfa Romeo team, everything just went to an incredibly awful day, as Mats now comes in to serve his driver penalty. That puts Kart Racer up into P2. Smalley right behind him, I'm not very sure. I think I completely missed him losing the place. Probably happened at some point when the virtual safety car was out. But now, Ella Robin leading the field, and looking at the tires, he'll have to go for one more lap, and Kart Racer might actually go to the end here. Kart Racer might actually try to go to the end here. The same thing goes for Witchshot, but no, Witchshot actually pitted last lap. I was talking about the driver penalties the entire time, but everyone else changed tires in between. But now Game Freaker and his teammate right following each other, and not quite sure why Game Freaker did this. Mats came out right in front of him, but Game Freaker and Mats both have to pit again. So they will probably try to go for the softs as well, so they'll stay out for another 1 or 2 laps. As Zach comes in from behind, down into turn 10 around the outside, and what a lovely move by the Alpine driver. Keto has rejoined, but I don't think there's a lot to save here. 3-lap old hearts will probably score points, but there could have definitely been a lot in the pot for him. As Zach now trying to get past Mats, of course he is on fresh and mediums by 12 laps, which will make it easy for him to get past, as Mats, of course, will dive into the pits, as well as Robin now goes in onto the softs. And it means our top 3 for now is set, and Robin will have to try and get those seconds back that he will lose now. As Mats comes into the pits, Game Freaker stays out. The Alpine of Zach will come close to Robin, but he will be on the soft, so Robin got a chance to go back up into P4 here. Of course, Game Freaker has to pit again. He will not stay out for that entire time. And now we've got a 4-way fight. Potentially, if Ayukan can also gain that time to Witchert. 4 P4, including Zach, Robin, Witchert, and Ayukan. But at the front, everything looks like it's settling in for the guys to be looked at as the podium finishes here. Kart Racer in P1, he took the lead. Of course, the mediums are better tires than the hards, so he got past GS Small again. And Ice Team P3, another reserve who's showing out big today. And Ice-T and Smalley will be incredibly happy today after this race, because I mean, these guys did not expect to race today, because I mean, if you're a reserve, you have to hope for it to happen, but you never know if you're going to race. And now they come in and put on a show in the first race of the season, instantly fighting for the win. So you can just say, what an amazing job by both of them. To come in, fight like this, put on good results. Robin got past Witchert, and he's right behind Zach now, fighting for that 4th place, but 13 seconds ahead of Ice-T. Behind Ice-T, I should say, but I don't think it will work for that. But Robin showed incredible pace today. Of course, his qualifying didn't go as planned, but the race pace is amazing, or was amazing up to this point. Keto now lost out to the place to Gamer Freak. Of course, he's on the softs. The hards can't do much against that. Leonard Slash trying to come back here as well to maybe get one final point at the end. But that quite didn't work out as he wished for it to work out. And Robin now is the closest guy on track to anyone out here, and Zach, even though his mediums are only 7 laps old, Robin will easily get him now on the straight, because DRS and the grip combined are just so incredible for the Mercedes driver, as he will now go alongside him, opening up the DRS, and that is the move done for the Mercedes driver. You can see how far ahead he is already, braking into turn 1 as he outbrakes himself a little bit. Zach trying to come back here, but it does not work, unfortunately, for the Alpine driver, opening up DRS, but it just will not be enough to make the comeback move on Robin. But Witchert now will have to fight with Zach. Of course, Witchert's tires are a little bit younger than Zach, but for Witchert this has to be in some way a disappointing race. He was leading for the first 10 laps, or for the first 8 laps or so, then came to the pits as Siobhan gets the 3-second penalty as well. No one on the grid right now with penalties, except for both of the... Actually no, one Williams, one Alpine. But Witchert looked like he could be the winner today, and then he just does not make it work. And now has to fight for P5. Now opening up the DRS. Zach of course has it open as well. And maybe that can also help him to maybe have another fight with Robin towards the end of this race. The same goes for Witchert, of course. Robin's tires will be pretty dead at the end with the softs. 10 laps are never easy to do around this track. Or, I mean, might be easy, but will be hard in the final few corners. But this battle probably continue to go down the line. Also for the final few laps, Game Freak now gets past Big Boy Jawan. And imagine if that driver penalty wouldn't have come into play. The Alfa Romeos potentially could have had a chance at getting even better positions here to maybe try, and they could have been around P5 now, or even higher up. I mean, I don't think they could have been close or ahead of Robin, but those driver penalties definitely lost them about 16 seconds, I would say. So they could have been around Witcher now. What a shame for them, because both of them had such a great comeback here in the qualifying, after qualifying. They both drove their hearts out today, but then on this track they both did get the driver penalty, of course. Happened to me before under the virtual safety car. So it's really unlucky, as Zach now trying to go around the outside of Robin. Witcher touching him a little bit. Trying to get back onto the money here. Fighting for P4. It will not be for a podium spot right now, but maybe one of the guys in the top 3 make a mistake and they can capitalize of it. So any position counts, of course. This is the first race of the season. And they also want to show how good they can fight. They want to pull off some good moves here. And I mean, everyone wants to have a 4 instead of a 6 on the timer screens after the race. But I think for Witcher, he needs to get past at least one of them, as Witcher nearly loses the car here, coming out of turn 11. Little snap off the back end there, but keeps it together, keeps it clean. But you can see the little movements off the wheel. He's just pushing the car to the limits to somehow try to get close to the Alpine and the Mercedes driver in P4 and 5. And of course, the one thing for Robin that's definitely not the best thing for him to have right now, he does not have the DRS, and he is on 27% of errors, and Witcher has got even less. Didn't expect that, but Zach is saving his errors to make an attack at the end. He's just letting his opponent run out of errors right now. As Mats has also got past P Suarez, who also made a pretty good recovery up into P9 again. Probably will get overtaken by Game Freaker before the end of this race as well. But you'll have to wait and see if you can actually catch up. It's 3.5 seconds, but I mean, the softs are now getting better and better probably. They're probably now the prime to gain at least a little bit of time now. But can't really say much about it until we get to see what's up with that. Witcher now really staying close to the back of Zach, who appears to have lost a little bit of drive to Robin. 6/10 now, was a little bit closer a lap ago. And Witcher has another snap off the rear. You can tell he's just going all out now. He wants to get that 5th place, no matter what. And now he nearly loses it. This definitely cost him some time. Way too aggressive here, but he will stay in the DRS, so will not fall too far back. And Zach with the DRS, he's getting closer to Robin now. Of course, the softs will get slightly worse now in this lap and in the next couple of laps, so this might be his chance to make a move on Robin. Of course, he's been saving his errors a little bit, 20% on the advantage against Robin, but will he actually be able to make it work? Will he actually be able to try something here? Or will he not be able to make anything work against them? Ahead in P3, Ice-T has been losing some time against Smalley as Witcher runs into the back of Zach. No damage being done whatsoever. But that, a little bit more, a different damage model, and that could have been front wing damage for Witcher. Just runs into the back of him. Of course, that was not on purpose, but just outbroke himself going into turn 10. Just misjudged the breaking point and then lost a little bit of time. I think basically around the field, most of the positions have settled in. Not a lot of fighting. The only guy that might be getting closer right now is Game Freaker, but this is the only battle on track right now. As Zach now, lap 26, makes the move on Robin. And now the softs seem like they are giving out. But Robin will try to get him back right after he got him back, and trying to go down the inside of Zach will make it work. Zach trying to stay around the outside, but that does not work. Robin keeps that 4th place after losing it for 2 corners. And the one guy that might actually profit out of that is Witcher, staying even closer than before. Trying to get that 4th place. Maybe the guys in front crash and Witcher can also take advantage of that. Walking up again, going down turn 10. Definitely not what he wanted, as he lost 2 attempts again, as he was right at the back of them just a corner ago, but trying to make it work in any possible way. Raymond still fighting with Keto at the back, but Raymond, I don't know how he's managed to do this, but 22 laps on the hards already. He's pulling this out. But of course, 14th and 13th are not getting any points, so that will not matter to either of them. And Zach now trying to make the same move as he did last lap. This time he makes it work. Witcher trying to go around the outside of Robin as well. And he gets the move done. Little bit of touching with Zach, but Witcher up into P5. Robin lost both places. And now both guys got the ERS activated. Robin going down the inside of Witcher again into turn 4. Not enough for Zach, but Witcher outbreaks himself. But keeps that place for now. But the traction for Robin is great as well, but that is not enough. But now he will be at the back of that battle, and now he will watch from behind with 3 laps to go to try and make a move. Outbreaks himself again. Keto getting overtaken by Raymond on the main straight as we speak, but Robin might have lost out on that 4th place, and which are now looking as if it's a better opportunity, and Raymond has spun around into turn 1. That will not cause anything, but Red Bull getting quite unlucky today with everything that happened. Of course, they both took each other out going into turn 4 on lap 1. Not the greatest start to the season, but they will definitely come back next week. And Witcher, he's as close as he's ever been to Zach. Now coming towards the final corner with 2 laps to go, nearly running into the back of Zach. That lost him a 10th or so, maybe, not even. But with DRS, this is going to be an easy overtake for him. Already on the middle of the straight, pulling alongside and getting past. Now Zach will have the DRS, of course, for the 2nd DRS straight. Will he get the move back? Will he get the place back? But Witcher has the great exit to get past him. And he secures that 4th place for now, and that is damage limitation for Witcher. Of course, he looked to win that race for pretty much half of the race, I should say. As Slash comes back into the pits again, he will try to get that fastest lap. Not quite sure if it counts outside of the top 10, but we'll have to find out by next week, looking at the standings. Now going towards turn 11. This is definitely not over in the fight for P4 as Kart Racer is getting closer to Smalley is getting closer to Kart Racer. 1.5 seconds, but it's only a lap left, so not a lot of time for him to get that move done. Nick Kenshin on the softs makes that fastest lap for now, but Slash will try to look and get that after also pitting now in the final. Or for him 2 laps still to go. And now this might be one of the final times on the final lap that Zach will have the chance for a wide shot to go for Witch, and a Witch moves right in front of him. That might get looked at by the stewards, but for now Zach stays behind him. Zach is right behind Witcher. Now he's got the DRS again. Witcher moves over right to the right side. Ice gets a penalty, but that will not matter at all, and Witcher moves back to the inside again. Zach wants to get that place, but Witcher wants to keep that 4th place with any means after already losing the win. And Smalley, 1.2 seconds. That will not be enough, but he would wish that this race is going to be a little bit longer now. 1 or 2 laps and he would probably catch him. As they are now going through turn 11, 12 and 13. Now entering the penultimate straight. And Zach looks like he will not be able to make the move on Witcher. And Smalley has entered the DRS window, but that will not be enough for him. Now going up the hill, no mistakes by anyone, and now going to the line. Kart Racer 2022 wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Smalley in P2. Now Ice-T coming home in 3rd place. And 4th to 6th look like they are pretty much certain now. Via Witcher from pole to 4th place. Won't be happy with that. And Zach in P5, Robin in P6. So close at the end. He was in P4 for a pretty good time, but then at the end he just lost out, made the tires work to the end at least. Ayub Khan, P3 in the championship last year, comes home in P7. Ecos Mats finished 11th last year, comes home in P8 today in Bahrain. Game Freakers team in P9. What could have been if they did not get the drive-through penalty. P-Solaris from P17 to P10. Big Boy Jawan in the Williams in P11. Keto will come home in P12. Beret and Raymond, the Red Bull guys, coming home in P13 and 14. Unlucky weekend for them. Slash, starting in P2, making some mistakes and spinning, then getting damage from colliding with Hellboy. Comes home in P15, and Nick Kenshin, the final driver, coming over the line. Not quite sure why the session isn't finished yet. As he's still racing, he was 2 laps behind by the looks of it. Trying to figure out, no, the session is finished now. For whatever reason, the session didn't finish when he came over the line. But what an incredible race with a lot of action, as Ecos Mats, of course, gets driver of the day. Starting in P20 now, finishing in P8. He could have been up higher, but did not quite work. Now we're on the podium. Haas getting the win in front of Aston Martin and Ferrari, things you don't see too often. As we then just look at the final results of the race. Kart Racer 22 in P1 winning the race for Urakali Haas. GS Smalley in P2. Ice-T in P3. The 3 podium finishes today. VR Witchshot starting in pole, finishing in P4. T1000X starting in P6, finishing in P5 for Alpine. Robin in P6, starting in P14. Ayub Khan starting in P15, finishing in 7th. And Mats finished starting in 20th, finishing in 8th. Game Freaker, his teammate in P9 after starting in 11th. And PSR is starting in P18, finishing in 10th. So pretty good for those guys starting at the back, then making a comeback. Big Boy Juan, Keto, Barry, Raymond, Slash, and Kenshin. P11 to P16. Then we have Leonard, Hellboy, Juanito, and Pew not finishing. And of course, Slash started in P2, only finished in P15. Leonard starting in P3, finished in P... didn't finish at all. So, McLaren showed their pace in qualifying, but they did not show everything they had in the race. But we will be back next week for round number 2 of PSGL. Hoping to see all of you guys soon in a week time at the same time for F8. If you want to watch anything else from the PSGL channel, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like. And you can of course watch the PC tiers on Wednesday and Thursday. Then you also can watch the PS tiers on Sundays, Mondays, and also a couple on Thursdays as well. So we will be back next week. I hope that all of you guys are going to have a great week, and we'll see us next week.